Tell.
Facility of the chair.
I don't know what Thomas would be happy if he has that chair. Who's talking to what? Jen. Oh, great. This is I'm used to the development authority, and I was like, Ed's on the other side, but no. Jen, Ed, Dean. Sorry. Is there an extra chair? Jen, Ed, Dean,
Tom, and John.
Yes and no. Let's see. Maybe there's one here.
Is there one here?
Good. They're so awkward with these like handles. They don't. They just hit. They don't go under. That's probably why the other one. Wonderful.
Look back.
I'm gonna check on my phone to see. write a note, it's supposed to say pre-meeting, it's supposed to have like a, we'll log you in shortly kind of thing, but it's not showing that on the screen. So I don't know what's coming up. I don't know. Okay.
Hi.
How are you doing tonight?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, I've heard from you a lot.
Alright, it's live. Does not say.
It's not saying when you're gonna be.
Yeah, but that's.
It is live. But usually there's that screen like we will be coming soon, or I don't know, coming to a store near you soon.
Yeah.
Coming to a shop.
It should be.
There's that standalone
It's this.
screen.
I'm Josh, by the way. It's nice to meet you.
Hi, Josh, nice to meet you. I'm Marianne.
There I am, there I'm talking.
And if you end the stream, you have to make a whole new one.
Does it tell you when this book?
Is there a pause?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you just pause it and then when we start, just start it?
What if I hit executive session? Sometimes that one works.
Well, that thing's crazy.
See, why is it making this like explanation point? What if you can do it from the thing?
You won't do that here.
I'm doing what's already written. I just want you to go through it.
So if you end it, you have to start a whole new one.
We did that last time.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I make this large? Josh is like, I'm out of here. All right, what if we hit? Settings?
I should probably get a training on this. I never even. What's up with all that feedback?
I think this, well, but I changed it.
Yeah.
I changed it and the camera angle ones work. So why won't the special things? You can mute it. That's probably better than nothing. Oh, this has got to end. Oh, it should mute in a second.
What if you unplug that thing when you're on?
I was wondering.
You know how you always Control Alt Delete.
Some feedback, huh?
Do that.
So weird.
It takes forever too.
It's like a 10-second delay, I think.
Get my email.
I did. I actually didn't. I read the first line and I was getting ready to come over.
Whatever, that day is completely
The
over.
thing that's weird too is like,
So whatever works
we're
for
on
you.
mute.
Maybe earlier, if you want to go
I
earlier.
feel like this isn't working. It's not talking to the second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can probably do morning would be better.
Yeah.
You're an early starter, right?
Yeah,
You said
yeah.
like 7 or 7:30.
I'm in like 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Okay. You're gonna do it 7:30?
7:30.
I don't want to ambush you as soon as you get here.
Coming in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually have a meeting tomorrow. I'm just kind of going back around now, regrouping with Captain Devan.
Okay. Yep.
I'll talk with him.
Yes.
Itching on the billing, and I read through the billing study. And
Good.
See if it moves eventually.
Yeah, interesting. Talk to him and then we can talk.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's more a little interesting. Yeah. He's been doing a lot of research too.
Didn't do this last time. He said the meeting is waiting to start. Remember?
Terms are.
Okay.
And it's I won't spill any beans, but it's pretty interesting.
And obviously,
Sorry, it's not
funding
toxic, but
for
it
that
is
is
changed.
It's
becoming
not.
more and more of an
Yeah,
issue.
it's not communicating.
The budget for that is, but it sounds like not what it's this is like.
Yeah.
Aaron, does that automatically turn on
Yeah. It's that.
the Stream Deck? Like as soon as you plug it in, it's on. You don't
Okay. Yeah, we were meeting with the attorney, the correctional attorney. Yeah, so, other than that. Yes, me too. Yeah, absolutely. And he had actually met with them in the past. I mean, he could have knocked me over.
We're going to get started here in just a minute. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Dean Vallone, the president of the Lower Allen Township Board of Commissioners. I'm calling this Lower Allen Township Board of Commissioners regular meeting, June 13th, 2022, to order. Proof of publication is available for your review. We begin our meeting with a prayer and a pledge of allegiance. Let's pray. We pray this day to give thanks for all the many blessings bestowed upon our township. Watch over us who are entrusted with the administration of this township. Create in us the earnest desire to serve faithfully and permit us to experience the joys of noble service completed for our residents. Encourage cooperation from those who are served and from those who serve. Help us to use every willing service and every effort put forth for good government. Heavenly Father, we ask your guidance to help us as commissioners to make the right decisions. We ask that you aid our staff as they perform the daily tasks of running our township, and we request that you be by our first responders as they protect our residents and see that they return home safe at the end of each day. In your name we pray, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Once again, my name is Dean Vallone. I'm joined this evening with Vice President Black, Commissioner Karen, Commissioner Kutz, and Commissioner Nagy. Good to see everybody here this evening as we conduct the business on our agenda for Lower Allen Township. First order of business is we have two sets of minutes to approve from prior meetings. We have the May 9th, 2022 regular meeting and the May 23rd, 2022 regular meeting minutes, and we received both of those this past week. I'd be seeking a motion individually on each of those to approve those once we decide whether there's any corrections to any of those minutes. So commissioners, if there's any comments or questions or corrections on the minutes, now's the time, but I would be seeking a motion to approve those one at a time.
If no one has any comments, I would recommend approval of the May 9, 2022 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Black and I have a second from Commissioner Nagy. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And now we're moving on to the May 23rd minutes.
And once again, I would move that if no one has comments, that I would move to approve the May 23rd, 2022 regular meeting minutes of Lower Allen Township Commissioners.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Black and a second from Commissioner Nagy. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next on our agenda is audience participation on any item on our agenda. This is where if you are here with us this evening to speak on any item on the agenda, now is the time to let us know. And when that time comes, we'll have you come up to the podium and declare who you are and what your interest is on that item. I imagine the two gentlemen here this evening are from the lot line adjustment. Okay, so when we get to that, I think staff will walk us through the beginning of it, and then if we need you to come up or if you'd like to come up, we'll have you come up, okay? Thank you. Is there anyone else here this evening for any item on our agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to our consent agenda. We have 3 items on the consent agenda, seem to be routine items, commissioners, so if there's no questions, but any commissioner, staff member, or anyone else in attendance who would like to have an item on the consent agenda removed for further discussion can request so now. Is there a request to have any item on the consent agenda removed for further discussion?
If no request, Mr. President, I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Nagy and a second from Commissioner Kutz to accept this evening's consent agenda. Is there any other questions or any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. This evening, under your president, there is no business that I have. There is one item that I would like to discuss. I was going to plan on doing that during commissioner reports this evening, and it just has to do, Mr. Solicitor, with a reappointment, some alignments of the commissioner liaison roles. And so I was planning on doing that before the agendas came out under commissioner reports this evening. Does it matter?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll hold off so we get the rest of our business completed tonight. So I have no any other business this evening. Is there any business pertinent to the township that anyone else here this evening would like to discuss? Now's the time, and if there is anything, you can just come up to the podium and we give you some time to discuss any item on your mind. Okay, seeing none this evening, we'll go on to the Public Works Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have one item on the agenda this evening for discussion and possible action. This would be an advertisement of Ordinance 2022-02. It would be an amendment of our existing Chapter 184 Stormwater Management Ordinance and replacing it with a new Chapter 184 Stormwater Management Ordinance, the PADEP 2022 Model Ordinance. This is required by our NPDES MS4 permit, and it is required to be done by September 30th of this year. The ordinance was included in your packet with a summary of the main updates to the ordinance and the model language from PADEP. So I'll entertain any questions that you may have regarding this.
Commissioners.
Rebecca, could you, for everybody's education, give us an example of the 3 items that you highlighted as to how they are handled?
Regarding the allowable discharges,
Yeah, like fire hydrants, flushing, hose testing. How do you remove residual chlorine from that
we
water?
already do that. When they hose test, we have tablets that we put over the inlet grates, so when the water goes down, the tablets dechlorinate the water. So we're already meeting that requirement. The other 2 requirements would be the residential vehicle wash water. That is not in our ordinance currently. So DEP is requiring that when a resident would wash their vehicle, they must do so and discharge that wastewater to a grassy area or take their vehicle to a car wash. They are not allowing that soapy discharge to enter our MS4 system. So that would be an educational process for our residents. We are hoping to make flyers so that if we see that, PSOs or CSOs could also help us hang those flyers on residents' door knobs, because it's obviously going to be an educational process for that. People aren't used to that requirement. So that is the first change. And the second change would be the pool water. Currently, our ordinance allows pool water to discharge if it's dechlorinated. DEP is not allowing any pool water dechlorinated or chlorinated to be discharged anymore. So a resident would have to discharge that to a grassy area if they have that area and infiltrate that water if they can do so. If not, they would have to pay to have the water hauled away if they need to empty their pool and do repairs. And this is, like I said, this is not an optional ordinance for us. It's a mandated ordinance change. So the language came directly from the state.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I realize that, and I know that this stuff's been coming. Been following the MS4 stuff from before, we had to start taking action here in Lower Allen a couple of years ago on it. These unfunded mandates, so to speak. all I would ask with this item, and I know that these are mandated items, and there's really not much of anything that we can do as a municipality without probably some severe consequences for us and our residents, and I get all that. The one thing I would ask, as we continue to move forward, I feel we as residents and as commissioners, you as a staff, we're caught completely off guard. I think just the general public was with MS4 stuff, even though I guess technically it's been in the works for decades, okay? I get it. But this is one of those things where information is king, and you do a great job. And we do a great job here in Lower Allen, particularly compared maybe to some other municipalities, okay? I get that. Moving forward, I really, especially when we advertise, I mean, we're going to advertise in our standard places and probably on our website for these, whatever hearings we have for this.
Yes.
And I know the public's going to want to weigh in on it, and I think we should be prepared to educate the public on how this becomes a requirement on us as a municipality, and then also be prepared we should be prepared to have a gentle response to people when they're upset about it, because I think we're going to get a lot of people upset about this stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm just with the kid gloves on this item. I think we should really be cautious. We have this opportunity now moving forward to get a picture of this stuff ahead of time, and I truly believe that we need to handle it in a sensitive manner, because I think the public is still very unaware of that this could even be coming after them.
Yes, I think you're correct. I know some other municipalities have already adopted this ordinance, but and had some public participation in maybe not being so happy about some of the changes or welcoming of them. As I've stated, these are changes that the language is required and we don't have an option, but I think education is very important so that residents understand, number one, why we're doing it. And then if a situation occurs where a resident is washing their car and had no idea, then we educate them there, with pamphlets and flyers so that they're aware. We're going to have an article in our newsletter here in the summer to let residents know that this is an update. It'll be advertised. There's public comment period. I hope if people have comments, they will provide those written comments to us. So I feel like we'll have it on the website. We'll put it on Facebook. So I feel that we'll do our outreach as needed, and I hope that the residents participate if they have comments so that we can get their feedback.
Right.
We don't have an option at this point because it's mandated in our permit. So if we didn't do this by the due date of September 30th, there could be ramifications from the state. So.
Right. Understood. And thanks for handling it the way you do. I really mean that, because it's we're not the ones taking the calls every day. I mean, we hear it from the residents, when the bills started coming, and but now they're going to be upset with some of these changes that are coming. So commissioners, what we're asking for this evening is to just advertise the ordinance so that we can get this rolling. Were we going to set a meeting date?
Right, you need a public hearing, and I believe it's going to be August 8th.
That's right.
So you have plenty of time to advertise it, and I believe your stormwater manager is going to be getting public comment, and also comment probably from planning agencies, so you have time to do all of that. But so the advertisement would be for that public hearing on August 8th.
Okay, that's okay.
That would give us time to go to the county planning commission, our planning commission, and our stormwater authority for comment as well.
Okay.
And you'll have all of that information back prior to that hearing.
Okay. So commissioners, this is obviously a very unpopular type of issue that we have to address. But what we're doing this evening is just allowing the advertisement so that we can have our hearing in a public forum and get the public's feedback on this change. So I would think that it would be appropriate for us to get moving on this so that we can have this advertised as soon as possible.
I'm happy to make the motion. I did have a question first. So I was just curious, how often are revisions to this stormwater ordinance required to be made?
The last time we revised it was in 2002. So I can't say what DEP will do coming down the pike, but this requirement was put in our permit that we just received, our 5-year cycle permit from 2018 to 2023. I will add that a lot of the low impact development language that they required, we already had in our ordinance. So we've already been requiring some of those best management practices. So we already were exceeding their threshold. So I'm pretty proud of that. So there's some small changes with riparian buffers and requiring easements for protection. But Commissioner Karen, I can't say if they'll have another requirement with this next permit cycle. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's thank you. I was just curious how regularly these were required. So that's helpful. Thank you.
And the next permit cycle is the 23.
23.
23, right, 2023.
That's correct.
Got it. So Commissioner Cairns, you're making a motion to...
I can read the motion if you'd like. Yeah.
Okay, if you don't mind.
Sure. I'll make a motion to approve the advertisement of Ordinance 2022-02, amending Chapter 184 of the Stormwater Management and replacing it with a new Chapter 184 Stormwater Management, the PA DEP 2022 Model Ordinance.
Second.
And I have a motion from Commissioner Karen and a second from Commissioner Nagy. Is there any further discussion? I'll call for the question. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
The motion carries 4-1. Moving on to Community and Economic Development.
Thank you.
So for tonight, we have a lot line adjustment plan. This is for the Capital City Car Wash. The purpose of it is to adjust a lot line to include a garage that was formerly part of a neighboring parcel. This does not have any conditions nor are they asking for any waivers. We have the property owner and the engineer here tonight in case you have any questions. And here's the plan up here. I'm going to walk them through it.
Good evening. I'm Doug Gossick, Williams Site Civil. As Aaron said, this is a simple lot line adjustment plan. We're conveying roughly a quarter of an acre from the Farr Family Tire Tract to the Capital City Car Wash Tract. Now, there's also you can see on the plan, a thin sliver that's shadowed in green. That property is being conveyed actually from the car wash back to Farr Family Tire. That currently exists on that lot. It's an existing nonconformity. We're just maintaining, actually slightly reducing the degree of that existing nonconformity by conveying that thin sliver back to Farr Family Tire. But otherwise, we had a few very minor comments that were addressed on the plan that you see in front of you. It was a matter of adding a couple of notes, adding a certification block. At this point, I think we have a clean plan in front of you. More than happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Commission, this was come through the Planning Commission this last meeting, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and this is the one. Commissioner Black, did you make it to that meeting?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, that's not the one. So Planning Commission, everything worked?
It was recommended for
Okay.
approval from the Planning Commission.
I didn't make it to that meeting, and I really didn't remember if this was the plan that came through for that last meeting, so. And
Yeah, very little changed. In your packet, you did see what comments they had and how they responded, but minor comments from the get-go, and this is their final plan.
Okay. So Commissioners, if what we've received in our packet this evening from the staff is enough for you, I'd be seeking a motion to approve this plan this evening, if we can.
So moved.
Move it.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Kutz and a second from Commissioner Black. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I have a question. So, there's about BJ's. I'm just curious. I know that that area, and stuff like that. BJ's. Do you think BJ's is going to move?
I've heard no rumors to that effect. Okay.
Are they for sure? Every time I ask somebody in BJ's, they say maybe.
My wife was just filling up gas, and she said, "Are you guys moving?" She said, "Yeah, we're going." So we're going out there to
Where Wanda's was, yeah. Okay. That's what I originally heard. So. I was just wondering. So.
Entertain the gas pumps with it.
So you might, yeah, okay. So you might have some new neighbors down that way.
Yeah, the gas pumps are actually owned by John Hoffman Bill, and they rent and they lease that ground to BJ. So maybe the gas station will stay, and some people.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Anything else from Community Economic Development?
That's all.
All right, this evening we'll begin Commissioner. There is no need for executive session this evening, so we'll begin Commissioner reports with Director Davis.
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Thank you. Director Rose?
Nothing either.
Recording Secretary Mary Ellen Banks, welcome this evening. Do you have anything for us?
August 10th through the 13th.
Lisburn Fireman's Festival.
Yeah.
We'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
We're going to have a pretty good slate of volunteers for the dining room. Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna have a good group of people in there this year.
Thank you.
Assistant Manager.
The employee picnic is going to be on Wednesday at 11:30. It will be at our Public Works building. You're all invited, so this is just your reminder in case you didn't remember. And also, Becky and I were looking to hold a meeting with some of the property owners that are across the street. They occasionally have some flooding issues during large storms, and we're trying to gather them together here tomorrow so we can discuss with them a grant opportunity that the county has to try to encourage them to work together to go after some funding to help them with this issue. Becky, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think you did very good. We're hoping they show up and that we can have a positive discussion with them.
Okay.
Just in case you hear questions about it.
Got it. Thank you.
Becky or Aaron, has it been determined that that's a capacity issue or a maintenance issue?
I think it's a bit of both.
It's both, Commissioner Black. There is a lack of adequate capacity because development has increased, impervious area has increased over the years, and there's a maintenance issue because there's debris that is getting, this system is channelized and swales and also piped. So when there's an open swale that feeds into a pipe, there's significant amount of debris that gets into the system and clogs it. So it's definitely a twofold issue.
Well, is any of it, in your opinion, Becky, is any of it the responsibility of Lower Allen Township?
We don't have easements consistently through the system. It's mostly private.
Because they had me look at that one time. And my findings were the same.
Okay.
And I would probably at this point want to limit the discussion because we have some concerns about potential litigation. So if you really want to talk about this, perhaps we put it on a future agenda in executive session.
Okay. Is that it? Thank you. Director Hall?
I just want to bring the board up to speed. I had a phone call early this morning, actually from Dr. Stoltz, superintendent of the school district. On the 9th of June, the school board met and he presented his cost sheets for the SRO versus a bunch of series of other options. In fact, he had 6 options that he presented to the board. The school board landed on what was option one, and all these are, if you want to look at the document on the school board minutes for that night. But that finding and what they asked him to pursue was one SRO for each of the high schools and one school security guard, which is be a third-party contractor for each of the middle schools. So he had that conversation today. They're going to be looking at grant funding, obviously, to see if it's available moving forward. I'm going to wait till that kind of marches out a little bit before I would come back to the board and talk about options for us. You know, we've supported the notion for a long time. We spent a lot of time at the school in various incidents, and the SRO program would be an asset for the youth of the community as well as the school as well as the department. So we'll move forward at some point with an agenda item, but we're not prepared to do that at this point. I just want the board to know that that's a work in progress.
Okay. Thank you.
May I just ask him a quick
Yes.
question? Okay. So you mentioned a high school and the middle schools. Is there any talk of any elementary school security?
That was not among the options.
Okay.
No. So, you know, it's in the school board's hands.
Oh, sure. No, I was
working
just
with them,
curious
so-
what they
But I think that's a
covered.
good question, but it was not one of the things they talked about.
Okay, thank you.
If there would be parents, I'm sure that were interested in that, they want to talk to the board, then, you know, they can, that was not among the 6 options they presented.
Okay. I'm going to check it out. Thank you.
Any other questions for the director? Okay. Steve?
No, thank you, not tonight.
Okay. Commissioner Karen?
Just one quick item. I was pleased to attend the housing ceremony for the fire truck on June 4th at Lower Island Fire Station number 2, and it was really neat to just be part of the historical tradition of housing a truck, which I had never been part of before. So I was happy to attend that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Excellent. Commissioner Black?
I have nothing this evening, thank you.
Commissioner Nagy?
I just want to say thank you to Director Hall and Captain Crone. I had the honor of doing a police ride-along since our last meeting with Corporal Reed and his platoon, and kind of goes along with being the new person on the board. Amazing to see what happens behind the scenes, and similar to Public Works, our residents should be very proud and know they're well protected. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Commissioner Kutz?
Thank you, Mr. President. Very briefly, I too enjoyed the Quint housing ceremony. That was a neat tradition, and Captain Devan was filling me in on on the history of that. So it's very neat to be a part of, and I know our fine folks with the fire company appreciate that, and we'll put that apparatus to good use. Also looking forward to the Lisburn Fire Festival. Thanks for reminder of the dates. Dean's already been in my ear about it. We're working on some exciting things for Lisburn Fire behind the scenes, so hopefully we'll have more on that shortly. Lastly, Director, thanks for the update. I'm so glad West Shore School District has finally decided to come on board. We've been talking about this for 4 years. When I ran, I mentioned the importance of school safety. We've been talking about this for years, and the school district was not on board. We've conveyed to them several times how the township would be so supportive of this initiative. I've literally sent grant information to them and said, here, you have to apply, we can't. So it's wonderful to hear that our school district is finally taking school safety seriously. It's something that we've taken seriously for a long time. So I'll look forward to having that agenda item for the board so that we can get an SRO into Cedar Cliff High School. So I appreciate that update. Mr. President, that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. I only have one item this evening, and it's regarding the board liaison appointments that the president of the board has traditionally made. I make those near the beginning of the cycle, of the 2-year cycle, when we reorganize, and I did this, I think, in January or February of this year. But at this point, I'm going to make a couple of changes, and I believe I can make those now, correct?
Prerogative of the president.
Okay, thank you. as it stands, the Capital Area Council of Governments appointment, which is the CAPCOG, it stands as Commissioner Kutz being the primary liaison, myself as the alternate. That will change to Commissioner Karen being the primary liaison, and I will remain as the alternate. And then the second change I'm going to make is for the Municipal Advisory Board, which is the liaison basically to the county commissioners. They meet roughly once a quarter. That also was the primary liaison being Commissioner Kutz and myself as the alternate, and that will change to Commissioner Karen being the primary liaison, and myself will remain as the alternate. I'd like to thank Commissioner Kutz for the time that he's put into those organizations up until this point. I've had conversations with both Commissioner Kutz and Commissioner Karen, and these reappointments, so to speak, and the vacating of the appointments have been acceptable to both of them. And so congratulations, Commissioner Karen.
Thank
You're
you.
getting to be knee-deep.
I'm excited. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Commissioner Kutz, for the time you've put in. Other than that, this evening, I'd just like to thank everybody and the staff here, and please let all the folks know in the different departments how much we really appreciate all the hard work. We see it out there in public works and public safety, of course. I got to see I didn't go to the housing. It was mine and Vicky's anniversary. So, but it was often I get comments, and when I'm at events, of people saying, you know, Lower Allen shows up at a lot of stuff, and we do. I mean, and this board is very active, and we're always represented at different events very well. There's not just one of us or nobody showing up. There's usually 2, 3, 4, in some cases 5. And so it was nice to see the 3 commissioners pushing the pictures of the commissioners pushing the Quint back into the bay. So that's great. So anyway, that is all I have this evening. If there's nothing more for the good of the order, we're going to adjourn this meeting at 6 something. 6:34. Terrific. Adjourned.
More good government.